Hey everyone, it's Jamie from Independent Street Tarot and Seasons of Ritual, and I'm here to talk about this energy that's moving on the planet, this energy that's moving now around the end of Taurus season. Um, we've got lots of planets bringing in some good vibes. So let's start with, it is May 17th, by the way, it's Friday. But let's start with, go back a few days in time. On May 15th, when Mercury moved into Taurus. So Mercury and Taurus is starting a whole new conversation. And what's exciting about Mercury and Taurus is that because it had all these other planets moving through there, these planets have left their signature, right? Their story in Taurus. So now Mercury gets to go and start talking to these energy signatures that were there. So as we know, Venus is in Taurus, Uranus and Jupiter are in Taurus. The sun is in Taurus, right? And so here comes Mercury. Hey guys, what's going on, Taurus? And so he gets to read these energy signatures that are there. Mercury is I feel like Mercury is feels good in Taurus. I would say pretty at home. The thing with Mercury is that he rules Gemini, who is an air sign, but he also rules Virgo, who is cardinal air. I mean, sorry, cardinal earth. Scratch that. Start over. Pretend like I didn't say any of those things. Stop, pause, record, rewind, stop, play, whatever. Remember how we used to record things with the tape? So stop. Mercury is co-ruler between Gemini, who is mutable air, thank you, and then Virgo, who is mutable earth. Okay. So Mercury in Taurus to me feels at home because he also rules Virgo, who is mutable earth. So Mercury comes in, Mercury likes to talk, Mercury is the communicator. The good thing about Mercury is that he likes to be creative. And so now he is in Taurus, who is creativity, who is love. Venus is still in there. Taurus is ruled by Venus. Taurus is how we value ourselves, how we think others value us. So now he gets to have this good conversation. Uranus, who has been churning up, remember we keep talking about Uranus churning up all this Earth and Taurus since 2018, is kind of towards the end of Taurus. It's still not moving out until 2025 or 2026, so don't quote me on that. But Jupiter, that's been in there, is at the end of Taurus and is getting ready to move into Gemini on the 25th. So again, all these brand new energy signatures, some of them we've been working on for years. Some of them just coming in there with this energy from the sun. But Mercury's in there. And so all these leaps of faith that we've been taking, all these, the movement that we've been physically taking, moving from here to there, trying something new, getting out of old situations, starting new situations. Now we get to talk about that. And Mercury really wants us to talk about that. Mercury wants to talk about, I mean, Mercury likes to talk. Mercury likes to communicate. That's what he does. He can talk to anybody. What do you want to talk about? What do you think about that? You know? But with Taurus, then we get to bring in feelings. And I think that's really important because the way I see Mercury ruling Gemini is with the head and the heart. And so now get to use the heart with this, right? Um, Especially with like wanting to talk about things that we love. So if it is this idea that like we want to have a new life, we want to have new energy, we want to bring in these things that we love. So how can we talk about them more clearly? That would be, to me, Mercury in Taurus, and it can be the details, right? Taurus is fixed earth. So the conversations that we could be having, even if we're having a lot of them, it is important that they have some substance to them. We're not just spinning our wheels. There has to be action behind it to follow up with what we're talking about. You know, Fertile earth, we have all this fertile earth. Venus is in Taurus right now, so she's at home. She's exalted, as they say. So Mercury is coming into just like this beautiful fertile land. So let's talk about it. Let's make plans. Get things going. And again, The sun being in the final degrees of a sign. I always see those as sign when the sun is in the final degrees before moving into a new sign are degrees of mastery. Other astrologers, not so much, but I do. So keep it simple. If you're trying to get something moving or you're trying to leave something behind, how do you keep it simple? Communicate to yourself on how to keep it simple. Taurus is simplicity. So Mercury in Taurus can keep things simple. Talk to yourself, well, what's the simplest way to do this? You know, if there's something in your life that's causing you strife, pain, grief, you know, what is the simplest way to get it out of your life, bring something else in your life, bring something in that will help you deal with that, or, you know, not deal with it, right? In a good way. So keep it simple. Um, this tomorrow on the 18th, we have two big things happening. We have the Sun conjunct Jupiter and Venus conjunct Uranus. The Sun, so let me see, Jupiter, I think, is at 28 degrees. And Uranus is around maybe 23. Let me see if I can check that out. And so maybe you've been hearing the word Cazimi come up a lot. Because when the sun is conjunct a planet, they call that a Cazimi in the heart of. But let's see, let me see if I can view this. I guess I should have done this before. Current view. And now it's really tiny. Yep, so yep, Uranus is at 23 degrees and Jupiter is at 28 degrees. So tomorrow the sun will also be at 28 degrees. And so when they say that this is a Cazimi, the sun is revving up Jupiter. And the sun is revving up Jupiter in Taurus. So, you know, the sun rules Leo. Leo's our confidence. Leo's our self-esteem. Leo is inspiration, right? And so Jupiter, planet of expansion, how do we blow this up? How do we see this again in Taurus, which is that fixed earth? How do we bring in these new opportunities, right? How do we bring in these new ways of seeing ourselves? How do we bring in these new ways of planting ourselves, right, in this fresh dirt, this fresh earth? And then how do we get to talk about it, right? Because guess who just entered, right? Taurus. Mercury's in there. So there's all this really good energy. And if you're sitting in a place right now where maybe you're kind of bummed out or uninspired, it is up to you to figure out, okay, what can I do to get inspired? You know, what can I do to remind me that I'm in a good place or that new things are coming in? You know, I keep telling people, if you're asking for this new energy to come in, you've got to accept that it's here, right? You got to accept that it's here on the planet somewhere. You've got to accept that it's trying to knock on the door and you've got to open the door. The sun and Jupiter, and just know the sun and Jupiter, the sun will keep moving, Jupiter will keep moving. It doesn't mean like you missed out on this opportunity. It's planting this in Taurus, right? Taurus is fixed. Taurus doesn't move fast. You know, Taurus plants those seeds. So plant the seeds, right? In this last degree of Taurus, or one of the last degrees of Taurus. Again, I see these degrees as mastery. I see these degrees as keeping it simple. You know, I see these degrees of being stable, really something that you love. And allow that to expand on it. And if right now you're like, I don't know what that is, tap into the energy of love, you know, and just sit with that energy, you know, just sit with that energy. See yourself planting that energy in Taurus, right? See yourself planting that energy in the sun. See yourself planting that energy with Jupiter so it can keep expanding, even when it does move into Gemini. Because on the same day, Venus is conjunct Uranus, right? And so Uranus is at 23, Jupiter is at 28, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. That's 5 degrees. So all of them are going to be conjunct each other, right? So Uranus is bringing in the revolution, which I'm all about, a revolution of love, my friends. You know, Uranus is bringing in the unexpected. Uranus is bringing in the cosmos. Uranus is literally star seeds, light codes. the aurora borealis, right, that we were able to see, and everybody was looking up, right, opening, expanding that heart center. What do we do all day? We look down on our phones. So the fact that all these events are coming in to make us look up, it's so beautiful. We had the eclipse that made us look up during the day, and then we had that aurora borealis that made us look up during the night, right? And we see the most amazing things. So even that right there, when we talked about changing up the routine, Mars going through Pisces, right? And changing up the routine back then with Saturn, right? And bringing in some more spiritual stuff. So that's playing out now, right? The way that I'm reading it, right? So we're seeing these new things come in, these big events. The Aurora Borealis kind of came out of nowhere, right? But it made us change. It made us do something different. And, you know, it made us think about things differently, hopefully for a while, or maybe even just a minute, but like to start to question things, right? Changing up the routine, that unexpectedness, that is Uranus, right? And sometimes we think, okay, got to change up the routine. I'm going to start, exercising every Tuesday. But that's not Uranus. Uranus is that it comes in, and then maybe that leads to a new routine. Maybe that leads to, a different discipline. Maybe that leads to just a different way of thinking about things that you love. I'm still looking at all the Aurora Borealis online. So, but bringing that into Taurus, Taurus being fixed Earth, then that could start a routine. Then that can start something more stable. Um, that could start, planting those seeds. Okay, well, how can I tend to this coming up with the seasons, right? And this idea that sometimes things take a little more time, sometimes things we need a little more patience, is good, right? Even if something comes in really fast, like the Aurora Borealis. And we had some leeway, right? We were able to see it, or they were able to predict it, say it's coming in, you could see this. I didn't get to see it here, but my sister in Alabama did. Um, so this weekend, work with these good vibes. Keep it simple. See what you're communicating to yourself. Are you communicating to yourself with love? And if not, check that. See how you can do that differently. Also, at the end, or I think on May 20th, the sun will move into Gemini, right? Who is ruled by Mercury. And then on the 25th, Jupiter will move into Gemini. And Jupiter hasn't been in Gemini for 12 years, I think. So that's going to be some brand new energy coming in on the planet. Again, if you're feeling a little agitated, sometimes that's happens when these new energies start coming in. Do your grounding exercise, do your breathing. At the same time, know there's a lot of good energy coming on the planet. If you're not feeling it, that's when you need to check in with yourself, see what's going on around you, see what's in your mind, and see what you can do to bring in the good vibes. Keep it simple, you guys. It's the end of Taurus season. Keep it simple. The sun's getting ready to make some moves. Venus is moving. Jupiter is moving. Mercury's moving. The moon's moving. So there's lots of movement. The moon's always moving. The sun's always moving. So, if you guys have any questions, just reach out. Do you guys want to pull a card real fast? We'll pull a card. I feel like this is getting kind of long, but let's pull a card for the weekend. Okay. Well, two cards fell out. And you know what? King of Cups, and Eight of Cups, right? So love. King of Cups, the way he rules his kingdom is with creativity, right? With creativity, with love, with compassion, right? The King of Cups understands deeply what people are going through. At the same time, he understands he has to keep moving. He has to have a kingdom to keep running. So you can understand deeply what someone's going through. You can have empathy and compassion. At the same time, you don't have to let it slow you down. You have to keep your kingdom running, right? And the more you keep your kingdom running, the more you're walking away from what no longer serves you. Okay, you guys, lots of movement this weekend, lots of movement coming up, lots of movement with his cards. The masculine energy within us is always movement. And then you can see with the Eight of Cups, walking away from what no longer serves you, walking towards what will serve you. So if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling stagnant, if you feel like you're too caught up in someone else's story, make sure that you check in with yourself. Make sure Taurus is in, or Mercury just moved into Taurus. What is your story? What is it that you want to talk about, especially with yourself? And what is it that you want to focus on, right? It's Taurus isn't moving fast. So what do you want to focus on? What do you want to build? What do you want to talk about? Keep it simple. If you can't just deal with that other stuff right now, just don't. Okay. And a lot of times when we disconnect from that energy, it helps the person connect with the actual energy that will help to get them move as well. You know, you got to see it as doing it a service. You get to be connected, you get to move, they get to figure out what they need in order to keep them moving as well. Okay, friends, till then, I'll see you soon. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. King of Pentacles on the bottom. So, yep, abundance, Taurus, Earth, lots of movement though. Okay. That would definitely be Sun and Jupiter for sure. Okay, you guys, if you need anything, feel free to reach out and I will see you next time.